Hey. Welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. Um, Today's guest is going to be Coach Wayne Hamlet. He's trying to get on some technical difficulties. That's what happens with old timers. Our old ball coach. Sometimes we just can't get the get these things right. But meanwhile, we're gonna stay on the podcast and talk, and hopefully you can get connected. But I'm going to say a few things about my man, Mr. Wayne Hamlet, and feel free to chime in. Maybe we can get him on, but we're going to try our best. Okay. Coach Hamlet, over 20 years of coaching at New Bedford High School um, at different times. Definitely top notch coach. Was one of the coaches that I admired when I arrived at New Bedford High School in the early 80s. And I was very, very pleased to meet this man. He's always been cordial, classy, professional, and a very funny man. He got us motivated so much, you know, just playing for the guy. You couldn't do anything else but play hard for him. You know, he was doing his best to get us ready for games. And I'm so happy that I was fortunate to be under his wing as a player for a year, and then later on coach with him at the high school. And he allowed me to coach the freshman team with a few other good coaches, and I cherish that experience every year, especially when I see the players that came through the high school that I coached, and saying hello to me and what's up, and you see that they've grown and become family people, and it's great to see. So, but hi everyone. See what's up, Joey. Uh, Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to try to get our coach connected as soon as we can. And if not, we're going to continue with this podcast as best we can. Keep it on for about 30 minutes if coach can't come on. So, um, you know, what were some of your memories about the coach? That's it. Here we go here. Got Reggie Victor. Yes, Reggie. Wow. My favorite teacher, hell of a mentor, showed myself and my brothers the ropes and how to be a man. It's so true. He just wasn't just a ball coach. He's definitely a teacher, mentor, talk to you about whatever you needed to talk about, was definitely going to steer you the right way. And I'm just I was so happy to be around this guy. And to this day, when I see him, I light up like a light bulb. He's just a good man. So, um, and let's see. All right. Without further ado, we got our man.
There you go. A little dark out there. There you go. That better?
Hey, Coach. Hey, Coach.
How you doing, Charlie? How's everything?
All right. Nice to see you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
I'm sorry to put you through all this technical difficulties, but this is the only way we can do it now is through virtual podcast. But you know what? We love you, Coach.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I watched the show the other night, and I got a lot of laughs out of listening to those three guys talking there, the Steele brothers.
Oh, they. Yeah, they were. It was so nice for me as a kid being around them. They were older, and but they treated us good in the neighborhood, and then their play speaks for itself. You couldn't want to be anything but other than those guys. They were doing it on the football field, the basketball court. no matter what, they were doing it. So, um, and it goes back to you, Coach. Over 20 years of coaching, and you seen a lot of players. You actually were in the classroom with a lot of students, and those memories must be really a treasure for you. My first time meeting you was in the early 80s, and I was so happy to see you. I thought you were a cool dude, and one of my favorite coaches of all times.
Thank you very much. Well, the big thing about
Hello. Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying, the big thing about teaching and coaching is, you get to see the kids in two different atmospheres. You get to see them in the classroom where there's, supposed to be a lot of structure, and then you get to see them on the athletic field where there is open structure, but there is guidance there, to maintain their level of ability and their level as a person.
Yeah. I got a couple of messages throughout the week, and Derek Consaccio said he really, really appreciates all you've done for him and the football community here in New Bedford. And also one of Raymond Gant. Raymond Gant sent me a message as soon as he seen the announcement, and he said, "Tell Coach I said hello." And he said, "Make sure he talks about me."
It's true, Raymond Gant was a big time ball player. He had size, he had speed, and he definitely had toughness. He had all the qualities that you're looking for in a kid, and you want to see that kid go further on in his education and further on up the level of play. And he had all the tools to do it.
Yeah, he was he's one of the younger guys in the neighborhood. He's just under me, and I enjoyed seeing him. And some of the other kids from the South End that grew up in the same neighborhood, and so. But you definitely have seen a lot, and I know that when I was playing there, I just thought we had a great team. But the record didn't show it, and sometimes it works out that way. And the big three, I really that puzzled me. I wish we could have got out of that and played the local schools. I think it would have been beneficial for all of us, as far as financial wise and having bigger crowds at the games and stuff like that. When we kind of went to the big three. And I don't think it was by choice, but kind of hurt the area a little bit, I think.
Well, there is a lot of positive about playing locally. Playing Dartmouth and playing Stang and Volk and Fairhaven, but you have to look at it, and the way the MIA looks at it is according to the size of the school. And we tried to form a conference because we left the Southeastern Mass Conference back then. They had two divisions, the large division, and they had the small division. We were in the large division, and we were always, the ones at the top of the rankings at the end of the season. And we left the Southeastern Mass Conference, and we wanted to get into a conference with Attleboro, Taunton, Barnstable, Bridgewater, Raynham, Brockton, and Durfee, and us in like a 7 or 8 team league. And that never came about. And the only 3 teams that stuck together was Brockton, Durfee, and us. And that's how the big 3 got formed.
Yeah, I remember after leaving the high school and going, I started working. And then one of my fascinating times was in the 90s when things were good. Sports in the high school was at the top of its game, in every sport, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, track, I think girls softball. So it was, and even volleyball. They were definitely going to the state finals in all sports. And the craziest thing is that the Goodine family, and Ruru and all that. It seemed like you had the whole family on the team at one point. They were going from one sport to the next.
Yeah, back in the days there, we call them the glory days. I'm not mistaken, over a 2-year period, the school won 13 state titles. Again, volleyball, football, basketball, baseball, track. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there was a total of, I think, 13 state titles in 2 years. And that's when they was calling New Bedford the City of Champions at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was unbelievable time. And yes, the Goodines, they're an amazing family. They were very
Mm-hmm.
supportive of their kids, very supportive of the athletic programs that they participated in, and they were very supportive of the school. And it's nice
Definitely.
to have parents and fans like that. So it was really, really a great time in New Bedford High history.
Yeah. Got a message from Sue Gula. He says, love all these players, great games, good times. My nephew played. It was Chris Puffy Gula, Jamie Rodrigues, Richie Ribeiro. Love those guys. Red and white. Great coach. And it's funny when I announced this podcast. I was getting a lot of direct messages and people just saying all kinds of praises about you. And I said, man, these people are right. Of course, Coach is a great guy. There was one moment, you and I, we were on the fire truck going to the bonfire, and we were going up Union Street, and I remember waving to your mom in the window. She was somewhere along that stretch, Cottage Tree up in that area, and
She lived
that
right.
was a great memory.
Yeah, she was a big supporter. She went to all our home games, no matter what the weather was. God rest her soul. She's not with us now, but yeah, she was
Yes.
over there. She went to every single game that I played in college. No matter if we were I played in Bridgeport. She'd take a ride to Bridgeport. If we were playing in Connecticut or we were playing in Rhode Island or whatever, she would take a ride to watch me play.
Yeah.
But those were the good old days.
Yes, they were. But that was a great memory for me to share with you. One of the comments is, "Did you retire because your trademark shorts? Did the code get to you, or it says convince you to start that? Why did you wear the shorts all the time?"
Well, when I was in college, playing at Bridgeport, we used to practice right on the Long Island Sound, and it was very, very cold, and
Mm-hmm.
it was always windy, and the weather was rotten a lot. And we had a defensive coordinator. His name was Phil Gennaro. He was a retired guy from the Army, and he wore shorts every single day. And I used to say, this guy's got to be nuts. But he inspired a lot of us to stay with it. When we thought we were cold, we'd look at him and say, if he's not cold, we can do it. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
something that I started. I did it for 25 years straight. And then it got to the point my daughter said, Dad, I think you're getting a little too old for this. And that's when I started wearing the long pants.
Yeah. The one of my favorite teammates I ever had was Jack McGee. Yeah, Big Jack. We would sit, around, since leaving high school and talk about different times, especially when we were there. And even he just, it always led to you. It always led to conversation about you and how good you was to us. And, so I had a comment up here from Jack. I'm trying to find it now, Coach. And, but let me see. we'll continue on. I'll find it. Through the time there was a stint that you had left the school and then came back and coaching again. Um, and you was coaching with Maki. So how'd that work out between you? He was your fellow player, and you know, was you? How'd you feel about the time?
Well, when I left, when I resigned in 2003, you get to a stage as a coach, and you get the feeling around, and uh, that maybe it's time for a change. The started to decline. The players weren't coming out. Things weren't going too good. Our record wasn't that well, and you get a feeling in yourself. And I just said, maybe it's time to leave and let somebody else take over. And so I left, and it was a 10-year
Hmm.
span. And I received a phone call from Mikey DeBrito asking me for a letter of recommendation because he was going to apply for a college job. I says, Mikey, anything for you because he is one of the greatest kids I ever coached. I'm not talking as a player, I'm
Hmm.
talking as a person, as a human being. And I said, Mikey,
Yeah.
but there's one stipulation that goes with this letter that I'm going to write for you. My big idea was always to coach college football. If
Yeah.
you get the job, can I come with you? And he said, if I get the job, he said, if I get the job, you're on board. So I wrote the
Hmm.
letter. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, he called me, told me, Coach, I didn't get the job. I said, well, Mikey, sometimes it's not meant to be, and the right job will come for
Hmm.
you. So then when Dennis Golden decided to step down, he called me again and asked me if I could write another letter to the New Bedford School Department. And I said, most certainly will. And then he said to me, well, Coach, is it still on the table? I get the job, you coming? I says, I'll tell you what, Mike, you get the job, I will be there. And that's when I went back.
Yeah.
Because
It's
because of him as a
it.
person, you couldn't ask for a better guy to have your kid play for. The things that he does
Yeah.
for the kids in the school and on the field is phenomenal. It's amazing the great job that he does. And I hope maybe some
I
of
seen him
myself
this.
rub off
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. It will. You left a mark on all us kids. We all try to, just you try to keep us in line, and that's all we can. That's all we can do for guys like you that gave a lot of time and effort to us. So, um, Reggie Victor says, please ask him about Reggie and Benson Victor. Any stories about them two characters?
Well, I had both of them as students. I had the sister Galen as a student too. Uh, they were tremendous kids. They weren't troublemakers, but they were sort of like the class clown, always joking around, And to
Yep.
this day, we're still very, very good friends. But a good one about Rodney was Rodney. We used to call him the Candy Man. He would have
Hmm.
a brown leather backpack, and in it was always loaded with candy.
Hmm.
So one day he came to my class and he wanted to know if he could sell the candy. I said, no, no, no. I said, if you bring enough candy, we'll all sit here and eat it. And then the next day he came and he had that brown leather bag all full of candy. And he just opened it up, dumped it on my desk. We sat there and ate candy. He, I made him a challenge and he accepted it and he acknowledged. So we sat there and ate candy.
Yeah.
But the Victor family, they are
Yeah.
tremendous people.
Um, so, buddy Jack says, always the best coach that understand his players and let us have some fun always in the game, and I agree with him. They now Jack, I thought Jack would end up going a little further than we did, and and because uh, to me he was reliable. I wish I could have spent more time with you guys other than just 1 year. I definitely had some good experiences there and some great friends. Um, I so I can't. I don't want to ask you about favorite players or anything like that, But do you have a favorite memory that you want to share with us?
I would have to say the first time that we beat Brockton in Brockton that qualified us to go to the Super Bowl. That's one of the big thrillers. And on the other hand, a top-notch one would be uh, beating Plymouth in the Super Bowl. We lost to them. That was our only loss during the year. But we
Mm-hmm.
didn't play well, and they deserved to win, so that was it. But it was the Plymouth players and the Plymouth coaches, their attitude after the game towards our kids, especially our black kids. And they had black kids on their squad too. But the things that they were saying
Mm-hmm.
to us, when it came time to play in that Super Bowl, I told our kids, if we can score 60 points, we're going to score 60 points. Is
Mm-hmm.
what they said to us. And we did. We
Could
won the game fair and square. People don't realize they took time off the clock because we were going to run it up. We didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
But when the
Yep.
game ended, Chris Gomes was asked the question, what satisfaction do you have today beating them after losing to them during the season? And Chris Gomes' comment was, this is just strictly business, taking care of business, doing what we had to do today. And, I give
Mm-hmm.
Chris a lot of credit because he could have said a lot of things bad
Oh
about me,
yeah.
but he just handled it like a champion and said, we just came here to take care of business, and we did. But yeah, those are two great memories. Because it was always, if you beat Brockton, you almost guaranteed you're going to the Super Bowl because of the big three, like you stated earlier. You didn't like it. But
Mm-hmm.
that was one
Yeah.
plus. You only
Yeah.
needed to win, 2 games, and you were going to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. it um Jack says that you call him Emily. uh
Well, I
um
looking because Jack always had a drawn look face, and those big eyes. His eyes were so big, and but he had a long face on him, like he was always sad or something, always feeling bad. And I says,
mm-hmm.
you look like that Emily. I said, oh, you look sad. And
Uh-huh.
he goes, well, and that's the way Jack was. He would never give you a straight answer. He'd
Mm-hmm.
mumble and jumble. He wouldn't give you an answer.
Yep.
But he was a great kid to coach. And just the last 3-4 years during my summer job, I went to one of my work sites, and when I rang the bell, the guy to open the door was Big Jack. And we
Mm-hmm.
made a little quick reunion, and I look forward to going to that site every day to see him because he's such a great gentleman now. And he took very good care of
Sure
the
is.
kids that I had working there. He took very good care of them.
Yeah, he's a good man, good family man. Raised some great kids, Now they're grown men. I definitely cherish his friendship. Um, Now I had Coach Gardner on there, and one of the great things I like to see is when you guys were all later on in life. When I was out of school, and I get to see all you guys hanging out together, and between you, at times Coach Gardner, Coach Seed, John Seed, another great guy to me. He's definitely been a good mentor to me over the years, and I cherish my friendship with him. Um, Mike Olivera, stay in touch with him all the time. Um, and it's good to see that you guys have some fun. You joke around, you're funny, and do you still meet up? You guys still keep in touch?
Well, we still right now. Back in the beginning when I started coaching, we still have Freddie Pimentel coaches the freshman team now for Maki. Stevie Estevez coaches the freshman team. Harry Lowe still coaches the running backs. John Seed works with the receivers. And Jamie Sylvia, who started coaching for me at the end of my regime, he's back coaching at the high school now. So a lot of us are still in contact.
Good.
I don't get a chance to see my boy Mikey O.
Yeah.
Him and I had a very, very good relationship. We spent a lot of time together, talking about life, talking about football. The only time I get to see him now is if I catch him when I'm walking around Buttonwood Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's a class man. I stole him. I stole him from Vogue to come over to New Bedford High School. And I stole him here for Joe Worth, and then he came on and he became my defensive line coach. And well, he's one heck of a man.
Sure is.
You're mentioning the staff that I had, all the different guys that you saw together. And I've always said this, and I said it from the bottom of my heart. It wasn't me that made that football team. It was those assistant coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Because, once you're a head coach, you sort of get away from the kids. When you're a position coach, you get to really know the kids.
Yes.
They seem to tell you a lot of stuff. Because when I became head coach, a lot of the kids were afraid to talk to me. They didn't want to find out what the outcome might be. But they would talk to you, or they would talk to somebody else who was a position coach, figuring, hey, I won't get in much trouble if I talk to him versus if I talk to Coach Ham.
Mm-hmm.
But again, those guys is what made that program. Believe me, they made it so simple for me to be the head coach. And any accolade that I ever got or any award that I ever won, I always mentioned. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be standing here in this position.
That's,
so they're one great group of guys. They all are.
That's I definitely actually feel the same way about all those coaches, and I'm pretty sure they say that same thing about you. Nate Ortiz says, ask him why you didn't let him run the ball. Why didn't you let Nate run the ball?
Even though I was his running back coach, you always got to look towards the head guy, and the head guy makes the calls. But it is a good story about Nate Ortiz. When he was playing, we used to have this award called the Stove Award.
Mm-hmm.
And you would get points for tackles, interceptions, touchdowns, whatever. You receive points. And it came down to the Durfee game. And Nello was, I believe, 1 point behind of winning the award. So if you score a 2-point conversion, you got 2 points or whatever. So he was the PAT holder.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to kick a PAT. The ball is snapped. He doesn't put the ball on the tee. He picks it up and runs around the end, gets 2 points. He wins the Stove Award.
Well, that's probably one time he said, "Hey, I'm thinking about team, but this time I'm thinking about myself."
And it was his last game of the year. He was a senior that year, but again, he was a hard-nosed ball player. And you love to have 10 or 11 of those kind of kids. You know?
It's one of the comments here, and not that it has to be mentioned, but I'm gonna say it anyways. But it says Coach Ham did a lot for the black and brown kids in the community, and you did it for everybody. It didn't matter who you were. You were a kid that needed something. I know you were gonna kind of do 100% and get us right. I've seen that, as a player. I've seen that as a school resource officer that later coached under you, and I really that's what I was saying. Do you remember John Borowitz? I know you remember him.
Of course, John Borowitz. He was the quarterback.
Yeah. Have you? I haven't seen him, heard from him. I don't know how he's doing, but have you heard from him?
If you saw John Borowitz now, you wouldn't recognize him. He is so skinny.
Yeah,
The longer hair. He is a professional artist.
I
Got his
heard
own,
that. Yeah,
got his own art studio, and I understand he's doing very well.
good. I'm gonna have to reach out to him. Earlier today, I was trying to reach out to Mickey Gonzalez to try to do a podcast with him, and I'd like to hear his stories too. That's another funny dude. People don't realize it, but he is a comedian.
Oh, his big claim to fame amongst the coaching staff is he does a sketch about me from another person who was an administrator. And when every time we were out and there was 6 or 7 coaches, they would always, you know, get him going. Come on, Mickey. Come on, Mickey. Do that thing about Coach Ham. Do the thing about Coach Ham. And it just bring you to tears. And he is a funny man. But to tell you, he was a very big supporter of our football program.
He sure was. He's I seen that skit, so I know what you're talking about, and I had tears in my eyes because it was Donald Tavares says a lot of people don't know how high let me see. It says high and long Coach could kick a football, a professional kicker. And Donald talked about how you used to get him to end up blowing up people, blowing up defensive end, whoever it may be, linebacker. It's just something that you sparked him. You made him a better blocker.
Well, Donald, number one. When I was listening to your cast last week about the 3 guys, looking at them, you had, of course, you had the overall total complete athlete in Dwayne. You had Michael Grant, who was, you want to call him your true student athlete type kid.
Yeah.
Then you had the kid that I really like, is the kid who might struggle maybe in the classroom, maybe things aren't going good in the community or whatever, but he wants to play football and he loves the game. And that's why I had a great relationship with Donald Tavares, because I felt for the kid, and I felt bad that he didn't have a chance to play tailback.
Yeah.
Because he was just a pure football player.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he was a little discouraged when he had to be the fullback. But, in the McPherson system, the fullback did a lot of blocking. And I told him, if you want a ticket to go somewhere or someone to look at you, you got to make sure that person you're going to block is down. And, don't leave any questions unanswered. And that's what he did. I mean, he worked hard at it, and he became a perfectionist. I'm telling you. One tough kid.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my dear friends. And we got Tripper. Tripper left a comment here for you. Said, Charlie, Coach Ham, I have so much respect for both of you and all you have done for the New Bedford community. Tripper. Now, Tripper, he did a couple of things for us, but I remember him punting. He was a punter. I think you guys had him on the end for a little bit, if I was correct. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was a kicker, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure position-wise where he played.
Yeah. I love him. That dude, he's a great debater. If I need to debate something, I'm calling Tripper and telling him, hey, come back. Come back to New Bedford. I need you for an hour or so. But I just I love New Bedford sports, and from what I gather, speaking to Coach Sabrito, that they're getting things ready for a season, and a whole lot of restrictions because of COVID. So I guess things are going to change, but it's going to be so nice to see you guys playing some football. Coach, what's the reason why they don't play on the newer fields?
From what I understand, is that the stadium, the grass stadium, is the legit football field.
Yep.
The turf field does not have visiting stands. So if we were to play Brockton, say on a Friday night or a Saturday night or whatever, and it was a very important game, and you had a real large crowd, and you get them all on the same side of the stadium, you know, and you
Yeah.
had parents like the Good Irons on cheering you on, who if New
Hmm.
Bedford did something good, they'd run into the Brockton section, like they used
Yeah.
to run into the St. John section.
Hmm.
You know, there might be some problems, but
Yeah.
that's the only reason I see why we don't use the turf field is because of the
Yeah.
fact of if you're playing a big game, uh, that where you're going to put all the all the fans. But I
Yeah.
mean, me personally, I still love the grass.
Yeah.
The ground crew has done a tremendous job the last 5 or 6 years on that field. Uh, Teams that come down who play on it, who have a turf field at home, can't believe how good it is to play on natural grass.
Hmm.
Uh, you hear some of the kids talking about, yeah, when you get tackled hard and you fall down, you're hitting the ground. It's not like hitting that turf,
True.
but it just to me, it's like real football.
Yeah.
That's what I call real football,
Mm.
playing on the natural grass.
So true. So true. I I'm looking to have some guests on this podcast, and I like to get a few people on here eventually to talk about Coach Worth. Um, and I mean, I know I got a few people in line that will do that. And when he came in the area, it kind of it just hit us by like a snowstorm, and in a good way. It's a different coach, different person. You know, can you share some of the experiences with you and Coach Worth?
Sure, when Coach Worth came here, what New Bedford got was they got a quality college coach because he coached at Brown, he coached at the University of New Haven, and his thought of coaching high school football when he got here was was a rude awakening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not like you're coaching kids at Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You're coaching kids at New Bedford, kids who
Yes.
want to play, who are aggressive. Some have talent, some don't. Some have knowledge of the game, some don't.
Yeah.
And he had a rude awakening. And when he tried to put his system in, he had a system called coaching on a run,
Yeah.
where you were actually as a coach running down with your kids, trying to
Mm-hmm.
coach them here and there. Then you got to run back, and that sort of after the first year or so, sort of cut right out. And then he went back to legit high school coaching like everybody else coaches. But his
Yeah.
mind for the game, he could think of something because of coaching in college, right on the spot. If this
Mm-hmm.
is not working, boom. Well, we're going to go to Plan B. Well, Plan B
Yeah.
don't work. We got Plan C. You know, uh, I can always remember him at the coaches meetings and this, and he'd stand up there. They'd have his glasses like this down on the edge of his nose, and he'd have a butt in his mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and have the eraser in one hand and the chalk in the other. And as he's putting it up and trying to explain to us, he's erasing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
How the heck can we try to learn your system when when you're teaching that way? That
Mm-hmm.
we can't understand. How the kids going to understand? Huh? But I mean, his mind was just phenomenal about football.
Yeah.
And again, he was from the old school. You had
Yeah.
to do it his way. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And he was an amazing man. I used to take 3x5 note cards, and I'd always try to write everything down, and I'd put it in my pocket. And when we get out on the field, he'd be sort of like, his mind was wandering about what he wanted to do. And I'd pull out my card and I'd say, Coach, right here, here's what we're going to do. He'd say, take that card and rip it up. I just changed my mind. So again, I mean, that's the kind of knowledge this guy had. You know, he was fun, and he pushed kids to the limit.
Yeah.
You know, two people that come to mind right off the bat, if you want to get them on the air, if they'll come
Yeah.
to speak about Joe Worth, is Coach Freddie Pimentel.
Yep.
And Coach Steve Estevez.
Yeah.
Both of them would get up there, and I mean, they always say if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't, you know, have gone to school and done what they accomplished in school and now, you know, into their life.
Exactly. We being around Freddie and Steve, they shared a lot of those stories, and you know they were comical. And until this day, they praise him. We actually have a fantasy football team named after him.
Oh, great!
And it's probably over 13 years that we had it, so it's kind of just a tribute to him. I was fortunate being at Keith as the school resource officer and being around Coach Seed, Coach Murgo, you know, and they would share some stories. Even Coach Raleigh, you know, Coach John Raleigh, and we would just kind of sit there and talk. Occasionally, you know, Michael was around and stuff like that, and those are grown men praising him and talking about him, laughing, and but it's just like you said, he was a different coach and different philosophy, and then he adapted eventually. So, but through his teachings, look, we got Coach Estevez and Freddie. I think they're both educated, you know, both teachers, you know. So I don't know, Coach. I'm gonna look through these comments, see what we got. Feel free to chime in and share any kind of story that you want, because it's all about you. Let's see here. All right. Michael Consaccio says, Coach Hamlet, great coach, great person, dear friend of yours, and he says he loves you.
Yeah.
So.
No, I knew of Mikey when he was playing in high school, and I saw him throughout the community here and there. And then all of a sudden we started going to the same establishment, and it was like, boom, we just hit it off, and we became very, very good friends. We were together all the time, doing things, going for breakfast all the time. You know, betting each other things here and there, and the loser would have to buy breakfast over at Dylan's. And
Yep.
he is a great man, and I just love what he's doing. You know, with all these different sport things for the community, for the kids, it's excellent. He is an outstanding man, and yes, he is a very, very good friend, a dear friend of mine.
Yeah. Rodney Victor says, "What about Mr. Rose Kool-Aid in the old field house?"
Oh, that was the adult Kool-Aid. That was adult Kool-Aid. Mr. Rose, you know, Tony was a tremendous guy. He was there for years at the field house.
Yeah.
He had a cabinet in the field house that had a lot of different kinds of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Some of those real cold days after
yeah, Mr. Rose, and he didn't live too far, so.
No,
but
no.
I remember him. I remember Red.
Yes, Red Williams.
Old Smitty.
Oh, good old Smitty. You know, people can say what they want about Smitty. You know, you hear a lot of people badmouth him, you know, because he was loud. You know, being loud is one thing, but being loud and being aggressive is a different thing. He was just loud. He just wanted to be heard. He wanted people to know that he was around, you know. But, you his bark wasn't anything like a bite.
No,
And what he did for the football team, or for actually any sport that would let him hang around, he'd do anything. I mean, if I asked for something, it would be done in no time, no questions asked. A tremendous guy to have around the program, and he was a lot of help to Mr. Rose in the field house, and
Sure.
Guys like that you got to appreciate, but yet they got to know too where their line is. Sometimes everybody thought he was the head coach, and then I'd have to get him aside into the conference room and talk to him and tell him, who's who around this place,
Yeah.
But a guy like that, you gotta love having a guy around your program.
That was a great field house. Even though we thought for years it was gonna split apart, the big crack in the wall and everything. We thought we're gonna have two field houses eventually.
You got one wall 6 inches off the floor, and but the reason the building still stands, it's got a cast iron frame.
Yeah.
But everything else was falling apart.
Yeah. Coach Gonzalez, Mickey Gonzalez, calling me now. I have to call him back.
Take the call.
Let me see.
Tell me you put him on speakerphone.
Hey, Mickey.
Hey, Charlie. What's going on, brother? How you been, man?
Hey, I'm talking to Coach Hamlet on my podcast right now.
Oh, no, sir.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
All right, man. Nobody sees anybody because of, what's happening in this country and all, this world, this COVID and all. You know what I mean?
Well, I just, Coach Hamlet told me to answer this phone, so I had to answer it, and, but I want to put you on the podcast just like we have Coach Hamlet on, and, want to talk about you, your coaching, your basketball career, so on and so forth. So, if you got time, this weekend, I'll give you a call and then we can arrange that.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, why not? Huh?
All right, Coach.
Valley, tell him he's gonna.
All right, I'll give you a call.
Hey.
Tomorrow. See, tomorrow's already Friday, huh?
Coach, Mickey, Coach Hamlet said you got to wear your Don Chaney suit.
Yeah. Yo, man, does he know what's happening with this? What's going on?
Well, we're gonna sit down and you and I could chat. I could give you a call as soon as tomorrow, and just talk about our arrangements if you want.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
All right, Coach.
Alrighty.
God bless. You stay safe.
All right, same here, bro.
All right,
nice
man.
hearing from you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
It's a good man, just like you.
Oh, great man.
Yeah. I'm gonna remind him about that Don Chaney suit.
Oh yeah. Well, because he first became the head coach of the basketball team for the girls. I went to I was going to the games, and all of a sudden he comes out and he's decked out, tie, double-breasted jacket on his suit. And I says, "Holy!" I says, "You look like freaking Don Chaney from the Celtics." And then it stuck, and every time I said, "Hey, Don Chaney." And then all of a sudden he's coaching in a sweater or a golf shirt. And, I said, "Oh, what's Don Chaney? What happened to him?"
Yeah. Well, Coach, I am so honored to have you on here. I just wanted to kind of give you some praise. It's not as much as I would like to, because you deserve the world. You've done a lot for us, and you ever need me, don't hesitate. You have my phone. Call me. I don't care when it is, what it's about. If you ever need me, I'll be there for you.
Thank you, Charlie. It's been a pleasure being on. And last words, go Whalers.
That's right. Got my gear. Still got it. Still fits.
Looking good in it, Charlie. Looking good. Nice hat.
I'm doing all right. Got a coach from Coach Seed. I got this from Estevez and them guys. So, hey. But I love you, Coach. And you hang in there, and God bless.
God bless you. Thank you, Charlie. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for that time that you shared with Coach Hamlet. Um, he's a great dude, as we said probably 100 times already on this podcast. Um, and start looking out for those guys that mentored you and women that mentored you, men and women, and praise them. Give them some praise. Show them that you guys love them, and definitely, let them hear it. They probably heard it 1,000 times, but guess what? Give it to them one more time. Tell the mentors that you have that you love them, because if they wasn't around, somebody may have been in their place that might not been the type of person that we needed or deserved on the football field or in the in the classroom. And Reggie, Victor, thank you, man. Always supporting me on this podcast. I'm trying to do the best I can. And feel free, get in touch with me anytime. Facebook, send me a message. If you want a guest on the show, just let me know and I'll try to reach out to them. This Saturday is going to be, I'm going to have two shows. Going to actually have another one on Sunday. So stay tuned. I may be the flash reporter. If story comes my way, I'm going to definitely put it on there, on the air, on the podcast. So just trying to do my job. And so in conclusion, I want you all to stay safe, mask those beautiful faces, hand sanitize and wash those hands, keep each other safe. We're still not out of this, but please, if you're entitled to the shot, get that shot and stay safe. Love you. God bless.